Welcome to next episode of my story with Shayla. I guess you're surprised by the title. This was actually the only title that was coming into my mind. I was laughing about it, or it's connected to something specific. But excuse me also for that today I don't feel that well, but I wanted to do this video today, and also when I was processing the information in this video, I would like to go deeper. Deeper than maybe I will go next time, because I would like to create a base of what I was going through. So and I would like to also read some notes that I was doing at some point, but not everything. I, for example, was doing some tarot readings for myself that were really so much reflecting my my state where I was with this and so on. So to the title, okay, the Trump, it's about like a Trump, it's this issue with how he was grabbing our females by the pussy, but I am of course not really like supporting this behavior, and but when I was reading stuff about him, then there was this line that he said, like, grab them by the pussy. I started to laugh a lot, and I was feeling Shayla, because it reminded me actually this moment that shifted my experience into this path that I'm on, and shifted into a little bit of madness with this mad experience. It's about just one moment, so this whole video will not be just about that, but it's very important point where like everything kind of like shifted and started to open. So and I will explain what it was, that moment. But I would like to start with what was before that. Just in a general, I will get to it later in another videos, but for example, from 2013 I was having experiences with the Shayla, but I didn't know that it was her. It was also dreams. Sometimes it was really also that she visited me physically, but I didn't know it was her, and it was even that it was E.T. I thought that it was just some non-physical presence I was feeling, and so there were also a lot of also confusions and this kind of stuff. So I would like to talk about the more distant past later, but I would like to in this like a second episode of this, but it's really just the first. I see it as a first episode of this series that I would really go into the story and start it. So there were some dreams, for example, also in 2015 I was having with her and blending, and I have notes. And this is also interesting that I was during the time even having downloads about what was coming, but it was for me at first it was just like ideas coming, inspirations, like what could be possible. I even had the idea of like connecting with the extraterrestrial female, and when this idea came to me, the first reaction was that, but I don't have that much to offer to her, I'm just human and so on. But in this process, this was also what I learned, and I think it's very important for me to also say that I learned that I'm not less than her. Of course, she has it seems like she has more abilities, and she has a more evolved consciousness, but it's not like that. It's just that this is very valid experience, human experience, the same valid that is theirs, and we just chose to experience this life and this physical incarnation in a certain way with a certain limitations, but we are the same powerful as they are, but really literally. I mean, the energies that I can share with her and connect with her are the same powerful for her as they are for me, and I can overwhelm her also with my energy. So, and with the abilities and the way I can connect with her. So this is what I learned, that it's just different experience, not less evolved, and it also is holds this perspective we have. It holds something very precious also in a kind of like a all that is, all existence. It is also very precious and not less than other experiences. So yeah, and then what I knew Shayla from 2013, from June. That I knew about her existence, but I was not paying that much attention to her. But I will get to that later also. And so later it was summer 2015. The Vashta Narada, you know, the artist. I guess most of you know. If not, then Vashta Narada, you can find her. She created the portrait, 3D portrait of Shayla, and my first reaction on that was it was a little bit of shock, and I thought like, wow, why she has to be so beautiful? That now everybody would look at her just like how she looks, because it was more overwhelming her beauty as she made her than maybe. It would pop up more than her energy maybe. So that was the reaction, that the other would feel more into that how she looks than her energy, and more behind and more deeper. Anyway, from some reason I was not connecting with her. I had some connections and experiences with a few other beings that Vashta portrayed. And I was very excited for more from her. And then when Shayla came, it was interesting that I was avoiding her. She was still popping in my mind to look at her, but I was avoiding for maybe 3 months or so. And in between I had also some experiences that I would like to share some other time too, and not directly connected to her, but very important on my path. And I needed those experiences. And then at the end of the October, Vashta posted another portrait of her, and saying that Shayla says that we should pay more attention in the dreams to faces of other people, that it maybe not people, And so after that I had 3 nights of lucid dreams, but I don't have, or when I'm sometimes it depends. Sometimes they are very vivid, but I didn't have that much vivid dreams. But anyway, this was very exciting to me, and I wanted more. So this portrait and also what happened made me to step through those fears I was having, some unconscious that I didn't know, like why I was avoiding her. But then I was, okay, now I will connect with her and will look at that portrait if there is something that I can receive from her or connect with her. So I felt the connection right away, and I was spending a lot of hours just staring at her and feeling a lot of emotions. But she was it was sometimes it comes, well, even now it's mostly when I am connecting with her, most understanding comes through the complex emotions, and that gives me understanding like what she's communicating. And that there can be some also words with it coming. So I was having more emotions, and it was about that like we are best friends forever, that kind of feeling, and coming from her, and that we are spending a lot of time together in ships when I'm, for example, sleeping, and in the dream states, and then I am working with the hybrid kids, and I'm also teacher, and so this kind of stuff. So I was very touched and honored, and also shedding these beliefs of not being worthy. So it immediately started some process in me, and it took about two weeks until this moment that shifted everything. And I cannot remember everything what was going on. I remember just this. It was in the beginnings, but it was I was still processing and getting some feelings and emotions from her. So this was it. And for example, it was just one week after I connected with her that I was with my niece. She was a little baby at the time, and well, she's still little. But then I was alone with her. She was just eating, so we were at the table, and then I felt Shayla coming, that she came into the space, and I was feeling her, and she came very close to me, and I trusted the connection with her, and I trusted her. Because there was a lot of love shared with her, so I didn't feel frightened of anything about her. So she came very close, and I started to feel that she was merging in my body and into my upper part of the body, with my arms and chest and then head, and I felt her kind of like merging with my eyes, and so I felt like she wanted to look through my eyes, and so I worked with the energy. I like to work with the energy also, so that's why it's also exciting for me to allow these experiences. So I pulled energy of my side away, kind of like, and allowed her energy to come through stronger. And in that moment, my knees also like froze and started staring into my eyes. So I think she probably felt it. And I actually asked Shayla about this experience, and it's I published the answer to Rob Gautier, so it's somewhere in my channel. So I will probably add the link at the end of this video. So this, for example, happened, and the connection was quite easy for me from the beginning. So I was surprised by that also, but later I realized that it was not that I started to connect with her, communicate at that time. It was actually that I was connecting with her many times already before, and she was communicating, and I was getting downloads from her. But before I didn't know just that it was her, for example. So yeah, many understandings came later. Well, then after those 2 weeks, it was November 17, 2015. It was, I remember the date because it was holidays here. And day before I met with my friend, after a long time, I traveled to him. I had a trip to other city, and he gave me weed, and I like to use weed sometimes. I was using also before those past years, kind of like a measurement for me to get higher and to see like how I changed from the other time and so on. So it's like seeing the difference, just vibrational difference and so on, showing me some things, but maybe I can also talk about it later. So I took a little bit from him, and wanted to use it when I'm alone, and because I like to meditate with it. And so next day I used it, and I was on my bed, like actually here, and I was lying on my belly, and I was very relaxed, and it felt like I was in the middle of I don't know, some hall or square or something like that, with a lot of ETs and a lot of ET transmissions. It was very fast communication that not even just my memory was not able to record it, but I was not even able to be that much that's fast in processing it, like what was being said. It was just imagine that you are able to feel just one word, and next word comes so fast that you are not able to remember what was the word before but I was also getting some partial kind of like a feelings what this conversation about, and it felt very enlightening or so, and but still I don't know what was it about that, and also there was a lot of transmissions, so just imagining like even I was able kind of like a skip or change kind of like a channel that I was listening this transmission, but at any time I was able to switch to another, so I was in this state of just relaxing and so on and very open. And then these moments happened that suddenly my genitals received the energy and I got activated, and immediately I had Shayla's face in my mind, and I stifled, immediately closed it, because obviously it was something intimate. I closed my entrance to the second chakra, and I had a question like, what are you doing? Immediately. So because it was just I was connecting with some extraterrestrial female, and now this happened. So and this started this madness for me at the time, that like why she did it, what was this, and does she know that I'm somewhat romantically interested in women, and this kind of questions. So, and it even opened those doors for me, because I closed them. I even forgot that I was interested in women and so on. So this was something, from some reasons, that I closed, because I wanted to focus just on myself, on my evolution and progress, and I was fine with not needing to be in any relationship. I released that kind of need. So this opened many things for me again to process and dive deeper into those feelings, that this is actually my main topic of my life, my main theme. So I'm not surprised that I was then experiencing this, and I'm bringing this story to you, because this is really my topic, and I believe that's something that I should bring out. And so then at the time I was also following this astrologer, yeah, I guess that's how it's pronounced, and the name is Leo King, I guess maybe some of you know, and he was doing every week uncats, and before it helped me a lot, but after this point it was like insane how this was supporting me, because he was telling everything what I was experiencing, with what was coming out from me, and processing so much stuff. And I really like his way of processing these states, that he is very supportive in my opinion. Of course, many say that he's too much shouting, and he has also like an ego and so on, but I was not looking at that, but his energy was supporting me, and the phrases he was giving, it was, I felt like a deeper meanings behind it, that was almost, I felt like, oh, he's saying this just for me, it felt like it, but it was really supporting. And still there will be some interesting things also happening with my synchronicity and with him also in other episodes. But so he was really helping me. It was everything about relationships and this kind of stuff. So I was being triggered with some things that were happening after that time, and so on. Yeah, so okay, where I am. Okay, so in my notes I have finished, but I have I need to find here where yeah, talk about this, just give me a moment. Okay, so after this happened, that she reached me with her energy this way, well, I at first thought that she did it just remotely, because I didn't know that they can, come into your space, physical space like that, and that you don't see them, but you can feel. So I didn't know that, but later what was happening to me, I now know that she was physically there, and she used her hand to do that with me, to get closer and to deliver that energy and activate my private parts. So I can imagine her like standing there like, did I do it without or not? So yeah, so she decided that it was obviously proper time to do it, to start revealing what is our connection about, to start remembering, because we of course we had a relationship going on for many years already, so it was time to make it conscious for me. And after this, and this confusion, what was going on, and doubts, and not understanding, when it came, she was always like visiting me, even in work, every day. Several times I felt her coming to me. I was not asking for her, I was not consciously connecting with her, that I wanted to feel her. She just came into my space, and again she buzzed. I was calling, like she was buzzing me between my legs, and so she was still like insisting on what she did, and she is not leaving me in what she did, but it was not just one thing. So I wanted to understand, and my communication, I guess, with her at that time wasn't that well. I think it was quite good, but when you start doubting, a lot of mind acceleration happens. It's hard to follow, like if I'm just I didn't want to believe in some illusions, for example, like what this was about, and wanted to know. When in this point you need like really external confirmations. When I was getting feelings about like we meet a lot and work together with kids, it was nice feelings. I was accepting them as probable truth, but this when I was receiving this, this was not that easy to accept. It's something, even just probability. I wanted to know like what was going on, what this was it. Then since I wanted to have some confirmations, I was searching like who can help me with it, and I ordered a session with some channel that claimed that he can channel her, but eventually it was not true, and it also hurt me in a way. It was not very good, but still it helped me in some way, because as I already know, I was seeing Shayla as someone still kind of like more external, or in some position, like almost some celebrity or something, and this happened, so it was intense for me. And when I actually did that move, that I ordered that session, and with those intentions because it brought up many memories for me to talk, and as I was exploring my sexuality during my life, I wanted to explore that with her, talk about it, and so on, and what was going on. So it was very sensitive topic for me, and after that I had actually hysterical attack. So it was like I was paralyzed, sitting on the floor, crying, shaking, sweating so much, and it was about such a deep shame about being attracted to women, and fears about it. So it's really strong when you start connecting with something like this. It really can cleanse you a lot, bring this, because there are very high loving energies, and also when you start accepting and open to them, it opens also that like a bullshit that you have in yourself, bullshit belief system, and it comes out, everything. So I had really intense experiences sometimes. Yeah. Okay, where I am. Until, for example, that session, what happened was that and I met someone. Yeah, it started that I saw some Bashar's channeling at the time. That was fresh, and someone was asking about channeling, and he said like when you want to do like a verbal channeling, sometimes it's better to have someone to ask questions so they can pull it out of you. So you don't need to focus on questions. And then I never had. Well, this was appearing in my mind from 2013 about channeling when I actually discovered it. But like maybe it was almost like offering to do it myself. But I when I was seeing like a Daryl, it seemed like being overtaken by the entity and so on. It's, you know, like when you don't know the entity and so on, it was like I don't want that. It's like almost being possessed or something. So I was not really into that. But then when I was connecting with Shayla, I'm feeling it. My idea immediately came like I would try it with the Shayla. Oh, definitely. And immediately as I had a thought, well, those are, you know, like thoughts that seems like I have, but they're actually she's offering them to me, those ideas. And immediately this one girl popped into my mind. And I am sure that it was definitely also from Shayla, that I can ask her to do it with me. And so I messaged her, and we were connecting just very rarely, like exchange like 2 messages per 1 year. So it was not that much, and she was following my blog also before, and she like. She was like into it, that yeah, definitely to try it. And so we met also for the first time at the time, and so I introduced her to Shayla and so on, or Shayla to her. And so yeah, we started this, and that we would do it. So I was telling her some things like what was happening to me last month and so on. And yeah, then after this meeting, it was first time when I started to write down like my thoughts and my what I was processing. So maybe she gave me that idea. So in this video, I guess I will be more, you know, going into those details more, and I wanted to read like what were my thoughts, and because it reveals some things about the relationship that I think is fine to share. So yeah, so next day I will also read it because I have it written. So next day I decided to write a notes what I was going through. So it was on November 6th, and I was still very unsure what was going on, thinking about possibilities and feeling into them. I felt that if I wouldn't have been sorry, I have dyslexia. When I'm nervous, I don't read that well. Okay, yeah. So I felt if this wouldn't be as I felt it was happening, it would demotivate me. That it would, if it wouldn't be true, it would demotivate me to continue in my process, because also helping me to move into doing ways that I knew that were good for me or better for me. So but I also didn't want it to follow the illusions, so that's why I needed those confirmations. And then if this would be true, I would surrender to it and to the feelings, and At the time I was still considering this as a platonic love, not really something like a relationship thing, or no, like being couple or something, just platonic love. I didn't attach any label to it. I would definitely I would after that wanted to cooperate and remember also more to dreams, and also bring this into the physical reality, this what was happening to me, and sometimes to merge it with my reality and this life. But it was also torturing me, because it seemed like something is very close to happening, manifesting, and the other times what was torturing me was doubting so much and worrying that I was also lose the opportunity to feel like it if it wouldn't be true. So of course these were the feelings I was having or going through, and yeah, of course it's not about that I should be fulfilled by it and I should feel it just myself, but this still brings much more love, and going just shedding some more beliefs. There were also a lot of beliefs about relationship coming out that I even didn't know that I held, because they were against my values. I also had feelings that what I was feeling for her was wrong, and it was not reciprocal, that she wouldn't be that wrong, that it's wrong that I feel something like that, and she is not feeling it because she is not wrong, she cannot be wrong, so so that it was not both sides, because she wouldn't do something it's not right or something because of kind of like her evolution of consciousness where she is. So from strong emotions and inner conflicts and doubts, I was also pushing her sometimes away. I was also investigating bonding through my bond with my niece. She was my teacher about bonding even before that. Through reactions, because she is reacting to my energy, not that much like what I do, because it mostly really, even just my action comes from the energy and state of being I have, so she was reacting to that and I was learning a lot from her. So so I learned from it again, and I was able to apply to this. But difference was that, for example, with the niece, I was able to see her reactions. I had that instant feedback on what I was doing, and this is what I was missing with the Shayla. There was just this, tele-empathy, and it's something that is not that tangible. So, of course, it brings a lot of doubts, because it's such a sensitive topic. Issue is that I didn't want to cross comfortable lines for her also. If that was just friendly interactions for her, I didn't like what levels of love she can feel. Maybe what I was feeling so strong was just something very mild for her. So it was bringing also some past pain that I experienced, that I didn't want to open my heart for her, those ways I was feeling to open it, because I wouldn't bear that when she would disconnect from me, when I would have that heart so open and connected to her with her heart. That's why I was still also shouting at her or sending her thoughts if this is not like how I feel it is, stop connecting with me, stop it. She still was continuing, she was still reaching me with her energy. So I didn't know if this was just about she wanted to help me or what, or if this was real romantic interest from her towards me. So I was also considering that that I already said it might be just my level of love for her. So again, I was learning about self-love. This was, again, I will remind you that it was in the beginning of the December, but I was having many lessons of self-love during last years. So again, this was from different situation or point of view, like observing my self-love. So I was, and this was also my question before, when I also had some different relationship in 2014, like how can I feel like into being with someone without attachment, without some attachment. Like if I wouldn't have that attachment, what would drive me to be with the person? In a way, of course, the answer would be love and so on, but still I can deeply love, but I can also love and not when there is not flow or something, or I feel like doing something out, I can just move. Like what is a relationship without some attachment that two people wants to spend the time together? Or I didn't have answers, vibrational answers for it. So, but this came again. So this is what I was also investigating and exploring. But when I would love myself, when I would love myself completely, would I have then desire to connect with someone else? So this is also what I was asking myself, because it seemed like attachment is some measurement in a relationship. How the other person loves you is like there is some correlation how much they are attached to you. And yes, that people have a problem with discerning love and attachment. So my conclusion was that base of true love is, but this is not the base of true love. But still, of course, I was going through these things over and over again next month in the cycles. When I evolve in some way, then it comes again, but in a different form or so. So it's a different thing, but it's very similar still always. I recognize that I expect to be fulfilled in a relationship or by it in some way, but it should be about sharing myself with the other. So I was redefining bonds and relationship. And then I also wrote that better is to step into relationship as a whole person. Of course, I was having these thoughts even before, but again, this understanding, maybe going deeper with it, understanding more. So whole person, then I can stand on their own feet. What? On my own feet, obviously, and with openness share what's inside. What? Okay, I have to read it what I wrote because I am not sure. Okay, better is to step into a relationship as a whole person that can stand on their own feet. Yes, with openness share what's inside them and accept what other side is sharing. Not demanding, not expecting, not taking what's not being given. So, and not creating attachment even after that. Because attachment comes from some fears, and fears are not experiencing love in a best way. So, and not also getting stick with the idea that it has to be the same way forever as it is now, even if it feels good. But this even closes you for, or I believe closes you for opening even more, because you don't want to change it. So of course it will not even accelerate. Yeah. So these were my notes that I was writing down. And so after this, when I wrote it, I had next night I had an experience with the Shayla that she I don't know, it was, I was sleeping, but it was not proper dream or usual dream. Even at the time, it was a little bit first experience that way. But then now I understand also better because I experienced it other times. So it was like I was, I think it was hypnosis. I was not sleeping, I was in some hypnosis, and I was talking to her, communicating about something, but my conscious mind was not able to process it and remember it, even what is being said, because I was aware during the conversation that it was going on, but I was not getting anything from it. But I felt my third chakra strongly, and after that I think that this was, she gave me something that maybe started to, or helped me to process those things that I communicated in those notes. And after 3 days I released some beliefs and so on, and that attachment, I believe that I felt just deep love for myself and also for her, and feeling very comfortable, and also that I was very much in love with her, but also in a general way. So somehow it shifted me. Yeah, and I was also feeling that I wanted to express to her like how I was feeling and so on, but I was not able to find the proper words for it. I was feeling like a bliss, a lot of sentiment and warmth, and my chakra, the heart chakra, was almost like a burning, very strong. I never felt it that way, such a warmth, but it really was not just warm, but it was really a hot sensation on my chest. Yeah, then I had also many other notes about around this time. I don't want to go that much into it's already 40 minutes, great. So I wanted to leave this more details for a book. So I was having some tarot readings for myself, and some other triggers about my experience in this life and so on. Then after this, it was around after that session I had, that was not talking to her. So it was like 2 weeks, and after this feeling, it was not something was not changing, and I was like, something has to happen. It was too long. 2 weeks is too long of nothing happening. That there has to be something that I can do to open more or accelerate this connection, and nothing was appearing. Just this idea to get her portrait from Vashta. So I investigated this into the point where I was talking with the Vashta about it, and I was feeling still more and more positive that it was resonating. And when I made the final decision, like, okay, I will pay you and let's do this, and when I did it, Shayla, it was obviously opening, that it will happen, opening for this energy to be delivered. And Shayla hit me with such a strong energy into my heart, and I was feeling so much energy in my whole chest, that it even like almost like knocked me down on my chair. And this year I actually got even download from her that feeling that I received, that it was why it hit me so much. It was like her energetic body or so, in her imagination, in a way that she ran to me and jumped on me, and our chest kind of like crashed energetically, almost physically. That's why it was so strong, that it hit me so strongly. So it happened through her kind of like imagination, but imagination is not just imagination in this way, that she really created and emitted that energy so physicalized that I felt it like this. And so she was so happy about it that I finally made this step. And so this portrait also helped me tremendously, opened, and I will continue about like what was happening afterwards in another time, in another episode. And I'm still reading my notes here. It was actually at the end of the 2015, and Where I am. Yeah, so at this point I still was feeling her as my kind of like a twin sister, so connected with me. And yeah, and I just remembered, I don't have it in my notes, I also was experiencing with her, I don't know if this was after I ordered the session or the portrait or before that, but I was feeling at some point like when I was sending love to her, it immediately was like I was just sending it to myself. So it was strange that I never felt the love, sending love that way, feel this way, like really it seems like I was sending it to her, but it was appearing in myself very in the same moment and very intensely. I was feeling it like almost like other person was sending it to me. So it was strange when I was feeling this mechanism. So I was seeing her as my twin sister in a way. And then I also, after I received this portrait, I met again with my new friend for channeling. And so we also decided that, okay, in, I don't know, 2 days or so, we will try the first channeling. And yeah, it was was fine. So it was happening. Yeah, and after I ordered, the next morning I was I got the download, for example, about integration of my limiting beliefs. Well, it was okay. I wrote that downloaded integration of limiting beliefs brings blissful feeling, but also to those limiting beliefs, because it was like also Bashar is kind of like saying it's some maybe some different but consciousness in a way. So it also wants to exist in a way. So that was a part of the understanding, and it wants to be loved. So not judging it, and when you are not judging it, it relaxes. And even I felt like taking it into my core in a way. I was having this kind of like a visual analogies of seeing some core that is me, like core of my soul and so on. And this limiting belief was some black fluffy thing, that was angry or something. And I took it with love and inserted into this bubble of my core with the love and accepting it, and it immediately was like overwhelmed with the love and happy forever. And this was also what I was using next, I don't know how long. That it was really working with me to do this with my limiting beliefs and the tensions I had. So yeah, maybe I should try to do it again. And interesting is that actually in April after, so in 4 months later, Bashar had channeling about indestructible core. So, and this was like already what I was doing in December, for example. So this was a download I received. So integration into my core brings them, those limiting beliefs, therefore also me peace and feeling of belonging for eternity. So that was the feeling I was getting from it. And like my core is like a vacuum space, timeless, not in any place or time, and all that is placed into this core is in a motionless bliss. Yeah. So yes. Oh yes, and I was also telling to my friend about when I met her after I already had that portrait from Bashta. I told her about the one. Well, yeah, I think I told her about one experience I had that Shayla was reminding me. It was some ecstatic experience. I didn't even know like what it was, and I got that word that maybe it was ecstasy or something like that. And actually at the time I didn't know that experience was connected with her, and she did something with me. I experienced something and asked for help, and someone came and did something. And I will also talk about this later, but this is the reference that I was already getting from her, that she wanted me to get to that experience again, once again. So I already was missing many things. Well, of course, and then I just remember that in December I also was having these downloads from her, like about pregnancy, or that's, it was like in several days, just after each other, I was receiving that those ideas to investigate, like parthenogenesis, or how is it called, like a virgin birth, that you can get pregnant from nothing in a way. And I believe that female is probably capable of it, or it was aliens all the time, I don't. But anyway, so this was thing, and there are even species in animal kingdom that are able to do it, the females, just by themselves. And even it's like a reptile, so it's more complicated, like an animal. It's not something simple that can do it. So even there are reptiles that can produce just by themselves, female, and will get pregnant by herself. So this was one topic that she gave to me to again remember. Then there was another topic that I read several years before that, was about that scientists were able to create the sperm from the DNA or egg or something of the female, so they are able to, they would be able to make available for lesbians to create babies together. But of course it would be creating just another females. So, but really, like, two women can share DNA this way and create a baby. So this was another idea that came to me. But it was before that, when I was thinking about that pregnancy, that I would like to have a child in the future. But how I can't see it like making it in a classic way. And what came from her, that they can help me, it is with it, because of course they are making babies very easily. Then this about like two women that can have babies together, even by our scientists. So this was another thing to investigate. And then after that, what came from her was that we have children together. And I was okay. I was of course doubting it because of other things that I don't wanna go into that much. So I was really doubting it, and I, of course, I remembered this download, and I was sometimes feeling into it, but I got into like really discussing it with her just in August, so it was like half a year after, or even more, after I actually received the download, and it was true. So so I guess this is all for now. 50 minutes. So in another episode, I would like to be shorter, of course, but I wanted to place the pace, like what was going on in me, just example, and another time I would like to be shorter, or maybe I will just say less things, like smaller time span probably, and I will see. Another things that I can do with this series is like that I will be not talking about like how things are unfolded, but I would take just one topic, like dreams for example, and just talk about them. Or I had the idea about jokes, that I can share just that level of like my experience with her. So in the next episode, I guess I would continue with the story in some way, and I don't know, I will probably cover just maybe whole half of the month of the January 2016, or a whole month, maybe. I will see, because I was going through my chat with this friend, because I was then sharing everything with her, and I was surprised that in January how much that happened, because at the time I thought that nothing really happened that much in January, but there was still a lot of things. So I don't know how I will be able to sum it. I would like to sum it more. So I'm also learning like how I would like to share, to what degree, to what level. So just stay with me. So I hope you stayed until the end and it was in some way enlightening or it was interesting. And yeah, I shared like really personal stuff and lot, but I don't feel that it's something that I should be ashamed of. During this path, I had to release a lot of inhibitions also, because when inhibitions are blockages, and I wouldn't be able to open to it. So even that I'm sharing this is unlocking me, or I think it will unlock me again more in some ways. So it's also, I do it just for myself because I feel that I want to do it. And so and I also feel that when I made myself more transparent, and like whatever reactions comes from other people, it's kind of like taking my power already back, or even like taking that power from other people to hurt me in some way, because I'm just sharing openly whatever. And it's really, it's taking that ability from the other people, or like hurting me when I'm completely open and I don't give a what about like how, to what degree I'm open. So yeah, so next time with continuation what was happening after that shift with the Vashta's portrait. So goodbye, and leave some feedback if you feel like to. Even just a like on a video is something that I consider as support, because it's, if you don't want me to see like that you watch it, or others, you can just like it, because it's anonymous, I cannot see it. So but it also helps me that okay, someone likes it and wants to support me to continue also. So it's also good feeling for myself that it pushes me to continue. So thank you also for likes. You can share it also if you feel like to, and comments, definitely some feedback. So goodbye, and see you later. Enjoy your day.